Well, I have to say it's been a long time since I've done any Milano video updating. I have been working on it a fair bit. I just had camera malfunctions over the last little while, so now that I've got a new camera, new phone as well, let's do an update. The last video I was doing, I was assembling the suspension, or beginning to anyway. The suspension's actually all done now. It actually went together real nice. It looks fantastic. As you can see, the shock isn't completely in yet because there's actually not enough weight on the front end to actually put the nut on. So once the engine goes in, I'll do that little step there. Everything looks fantastic when it's all painted and assembled. As you can see, everything is attached, torqued down, ready to go. The alignment shop is probably going to love me. Everything's anti-seize like crazy. New wheel bearings, new brakes, new brake pads. Yeah, very happy with the end result. This on the front suspension anyway. You can see I've put the bumpers on now as well, but we'll just move to the back suspension to see that's all reassembled as well. So as you can see, I didn't bother doing anything with the springs, but you can see the nice painted subframe and linkages. And the gearbox is also reinstalled. It all looks great. The brakes are all connected as well. So yeah, we're moving along here. The anti-roll bar and end links are all together. Shocks are bolted in and everything. There's the front of the transaxle. The new gear change linkage that I rebuilt, or actually kind of re-engineered last year, so that's ready to be hooked up and everything. So let's get out of here. Oh. Today I kind of finished dicking around with the bumpers. I polished the tail light lenses with some car polish. Nice and smooth now. They look great. Nice and shiny. Look like pretty much like the brand new. The rear bumpers were a bit of a pain because I think the car was probably in a minor accident at one point, and it broke some of the mounting tabs on the rear bumpers, you can see. So good old friend Zap straps on a couple places kind of helps me out. But it is all very solid and everything, so it looks great as well. I used some restoring compound on the rear plastic pieces to bring the black back. You can still very faintly see the triangular sticker that used to be on there of the clover leaf. It would kind of look crappy, and I don't actually like stickers on my car, so I pulled it off. In addition to putting the suspension together, I reassembled the doors, put the windows in, and the mechanisms, greased the mechanisms and everything, put them in. They work awesome now. They're really fast. The windows go down really fast now. I know most Milano's windows go down like to about there, and they kind of just barely crawl down to the bottom. So now these things just go up and down. Easy. I've installed the carpet, which looks great. Vacuumed it and cleaned it really, really well. Did the other door. I haven't done the front door insulation pieces yet, but that'll probably be soon. They're just sitting right there. At this point, the HVAC is like the next logical step to do. I've installed all the engine bay wiring harnesses. I've cleaned all the wiring harnesses. They were all dirty and oily and crappy, but I cleaned them all real well. I added some extra power feeders from the alternator to the fuse box since I have an upgraded alternator. That's a very smart thing to do to get the most out of it. We'll move into the engine bay. You can see the rest of the front suspension there. Looks fantastic. Let's have a look at the engine bay. It's really starting to come together. Got all the brake lines all hooked up. I'm not sure if I showed that in another video or not. Cleaned the coolant expansion tank with coffee grinds. That actually it really takes the nasty crap out of the insides. That's a very good tip. Braking system. I've got a proportioning valve. Everything's not finally torqued down yet, but that'll be for the rear brakes to proportion them down. What else have I done here? Yeah, so I also, this is the wiring harness that goes to the alternator. I've essentially just doubled up whatever gauge was there with just another wire and then taped it into a new harness into that main fuse panel. As you can see, there's a whole bunch more crap in there. When you upgrade an alternator, it is a good idea to do that to get the actual benefit from the alternator. You might as well have that go to your fuse box, right? Instead of just having 90 amps available, you might as well feed it to the fuse box where it's actually needed. I've got the front harnesses all in and plugged in and everything. I actually, on this harness when I installed it, of course I have to chop that off and do my Motronic harness connector and stuff on there. Wiper motor, you can see the brand new wiper motor in there. I've done a whole bunch of modification to this kind of end of the car because in addition to, you know, the upgraded condenser which I've added the condenser fan, and that needs its own harness to switch on when the air conditioning is on. So I put obviously another relay for that fan into that original harness, and then I also ran into the inside of the car. What do they got here? 4 extra wires. Just so that, you know, if I want to add something in the future, I don't have to have wires going all over my engine bay. It looks like crap. So I taped in those 4 wires into that harness and it comes all the way up, as you can see right there. So that way, if I need to add something into the front of the car, or, you know, add a switch for something or add a feature or anything, I can just use one of these spare wires instead of having crappy, ugly. Actually, you know what? One of these wires is going to be for the oil temperature gauge. So one of them's already spoken for at this point. So yeah, you can see I've got the oil cooler installed cleanly. I've got the air conditioning, the upgraded air conditioning condenser installed, the fan for the air conditioning condenser. You can also see the power steering cooler, which I've added, and then the hoses, which go to this side of the engine bay. And you can see my reservoir, which is not from an Alfa Romeo, it's from a BMW, all connected and ready to go. This thing is way better than that ugly white plastic thing that sat right here. I hated that thing. It dripped oil over the radiator and made a mess. So that's a brand new reservoir, the brand new filter in it, so that'll do me for years to come. So yeah, she's starting to look like a car again. As you can see, the bumpers went on. I'm probably going to be doing a little bit of paint work to the bumpers eventually, but for now, the car has bumpers, so I'm just happy. So yeah, I'll be making hopefully more Milano updates in the next little while, but for now, we're still moving along. I have the HVAC to do next, as I was saying, and so I've done a couple modifications to the heater control, and I'll be showing those in a later video once I start doing more of the HVAC work. Anyways, bye for now.